Hi Bernard, welcome to News9. This is Amit Kamath. So I wanted to understand, when you were approached, I'm assuming by the Boxing Federation of India, what is it that kind of interested you about this role, and what made you take it up?
Suppose firstly, India, the Boxing Federation first approached me uh, back in May, after I became available, and I've worked with India through Santiago over the last 5 years. At numerous training camps, they've come to us in Ireland. We've worked together in Italy. We've worked together in Germany. So I knew the talent that was here. I knew you just have to watch the Commonwealth Championship or the Commonwealth Games, and you look at the success that India had. You look at the team that's going to wait to these Asian Championships, and I'm here and I'm watching them train every day, and it's fantastic to see that talent. And then you look at the talent that's actually not going to the Asian Championships, and you're saying this can be a fantastic team. And I just think with the right structures and the right processes in place around how we prepare for battle, how we prepare our athletes, how we plan for Paris in 2024, which is the ultimate goal. So when we get these little things right, because the talent is already here, I believe that. We just need to put the right shape on it and just polish it off that it just perfectly fits together.
Right. You spoke about the process. I remember reading one of your initial interviews. I think when you had taken over the Irish job, even in that you spoke about your philosophy in developing boxers, your process. Can you just elaborate a little bit on that? What does that entail for you? What do you do that is different from other high performance directors?
I don't know. I don't know whether it's different from other high performance directors, but I suppose in my role, and I suppose in my life, the athlete is the center of everything, and they're the most important piece of the program. I know I'm seen as the leader, and I'm seen as the, I suppose, the boss of the team and the system. But ultimately, my job is just to serve them, to serve their needs, to make sure that they have what they require to perform at the highest level. Secondly, it's to support the coaches and give them guidance and help them in any challenges that they may be having. And secondly, it's to challenge, or thirdly, it's to challenge my support team. Their job is to make sure that we have the right environment and right culture and right sports science working with our group. And when we can get all these little pieces aligned, and we have full alignment through the system in terms of what each individual athlete needs, I believe that success follows. And I suppose I've been able to prove that over the last number of years with the success I've had, not just with the Irish boxing team, but with other teams who I've worked with.
You spoke a very prescient word. You said culture. Can you just elaborate on what you mean by culture, especially when it comes to the high performance program in boxing?
We need an openness. We need to trust each other. I've got to earn that trust here. So I've got to show the athletes, I've got to show the coaches, and I've got to show the support staff that, although I am the leader, I'm ultimately here to service and support them in any way that I can. That takes an honesty. That takes athletes to be able to come to me and say they need more of this or they need less of that, or you know what, I'm not happy about something. And that takes time to evolve. That takes time to settle. But I'm already seeing athletes engaging with me here on a daily basis. And it's great to see. It's great to see that there's that connection there already. I think it helps that I've been an athlete myself, so I understand the requirements of performing at the highest level. So I think that helps with the connection with this team.
Right. You've obviously spoken about honesty. I wanted to understand what is it that what is your vision for Indian boxing in the next few days? How would you define success? Because you mentioned the Paris Olympics coming up in 2 years' time. Your first challenge obviously is the Asian Championships. So how do you kind of define success?
Well, success for me is the Olympic Games. So that's our target, and I've been very open about that with my team. Ultimately, I'm looking for performance at the Asian Championships that's upcoming. It's an important competition. It's a launch pad for some of these athletes into the Olympic team. It's a launch pad for them to actually stand up and say, okay, look in this direction. I'm somebody for you to pay attention to. Because there's athletes who are not going in this competition, who are already standout athletes. So it's an opportunity for people now to show that they can perform and given an opportunity. And that's over the next couple of days. My job is to make sure that they do have that opportunity, that they have what they need, that the analysis is done, that the understanding of what's required of them when they go out to perform is there. I'm not overly concerned around medals. I want my athletes to perform, and I've watched this team over the last 2 weeks here, and I know there's fantastic talent here, and if it performs and at the level that it can at these Asian Championships, they'll win medals. But that's putting a number on a medal at this stage in the Asian Championships is probably a little bit foolish. But for me, with this team, and it's a young team, there's medals within this group, but ultimately it's the performance that I'm looking for.
And just to contrast, when you took over Ireland as the high performance director, and now that you've taken over India, what are the differences that you're seeing in terms of just the attitude towards training, be it philosophy, be it culture?
Actually, you're probably both in a very similar position. Ireland were coming off 2016 Olympic Games where it was seen as a failure. I'm not so sure. India is coming off Tokyo Olympic Games, and I'm not so sure there's a positive vibe around it. Again, I'm not so sure I agree with that. You got to remember, to win an Olympic medal is amazing. It's not an easy thing to do. It's an amazing achievement for any team to do, and I think the coaches that were here before were good coaches. I think the coaches that are here now are good coaches. So I see a lot of similarities within the system. There's amazingly talented athletes. There's a hunger for success, and there's, more importantly, there's a hunger to learn, and that's been evident to me over the last, even today, where I was in the gym this morning, and 3 athletes wanted to sit with me and discuss their own individual styles and what I had seen over the last 2 weeks and how I could have input into that. And that's just great to see, because these are athletes who are already achieving big things, and yet they still want to ask for advice, they still want to learn, they still want to grow, they still want to develop. And for me, that's all I can ever ask.
Just to sum up and ask one last question, you mentioned that there are these tiny things that need to fall into place that you just need to do. Obviously, honesty is one thing. Besides that, are there areas that you already identified which needs to be changed in Indian boxing?
I don't know whether change is the right word. Probably enhanced, or really exposed to the athletes in terms of a real understanding of self. So too often we get caught up worrying about the opponents. Too often we get caught up, building them up into something that they're not. I want my athletes to really understand themselves, understand what their strengths are. How can we go from good to great? How can we go from great to world class? And that's my, I suppose that's my job over the next 2 years, is to help the team move from good to great, and great to best in class. That's the goal ultimately. and do India proud. That's our job.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Bernard. Thanks, Dhruvan, for coordinating this.